This video presentation of TZYM Inc. It's a NASDAQ global market stock trading our ticker TZYM. Going to wrap this week up with a pure bottom play. Let me preface this by saying I know nothing about this company fundamentally. I don't know what caused this big drop from up over top of $4 all the way down over the course of the last 3 months, holding a base around 50 cents. But the Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten up a little bit. 50-day moving average has now moved into the picture. Stock's bounced off of this 50-cent level several times over the last couple months. And I just want to put this on radar, see if it's going to make another move or finally just fall through this base and collapse to a new low. See the MACD's trended back towards zero. Pretty neutral reading at this point, but I basically look at this as a make or break point. MACD's either going to push through zero and this chart's going to go bullish and the stock price is going to rise, or as I mentioned, it's going to fall through that support level. When it gets close like that, that's when I start honing in on a little bit more and paying attention to the support level and seeing if the stock's going to take on any upward pressure. Now, off any PPO ADX pinch, I look for that PPO to trend back towards zero because, again, that's the classic time when the stock decides to make a bigger move. ADX has certainly cooled off, fallen from all the way over top of 60, down to about a 24 reading right now. Again, pretty neutral, no real strength to any direction in the chart right now. The MFI 7 has plummeted, pulled well away from the 14 and 21. I always look for a correction at that point. Accumulation distribution, just making new lows in a downward trend over the last couple months. Tells me that there's clearly been some selling going on in the stock. Getting a little bit of a different read than shaking money flow, which by being down the red side, selling pressure is still outweighing buying pressure, but it does look like it's subsiding over the last 3 months, which while I wouldn't call super bullish or anything like that, it is a little bit more optimistic. It does show that the selling pressure is relaxing at least a little bit. Not getting much from the CCI, down below zero, tells me the stock price is below its 20-day mean. Full stow, couldn't hold over top of 50. Tells me there's no bullish momentum in the play. And the tricks like the MACD, it's a gauge of trend, moving back towards zero. Again, positions the chart at a decision point. Relative strength index, again, down low. It's not into oversold territory, which would be below 30. But all three components only registering in the mid-30s or so. Says there's no bullish momentum in the play. As I mentioned in a lot of charts, I look for the break of 50, especially with the red and gold lines, a little bit longer term RSIs, to show that some bullish momentum is growing and sustaining in the play. So as can be somewhat expected, I mean, this chart's caught in a channel, pretty much with a bottom support at 50 cents, and some pretty healthy resistance right there around 65 cents. Now at the close at 53 on Thursday, it's actually a pretty nice swing just to come from top to bottom, of right around 30%. So there is some swing trade possibility in there, although it's worth watching trading. And 239,000 shares is not the worst liquidity in the world, but I'd want to see this come off a bottom and see some volume spikes come into play and show that people are seeing it as a buying opportunity on support levels. Of course, at that point, what I also want to see is volume increases to build the momentum, to have it break through 50, and to help that trend shift make it through a benchmark point like zero. If the support holds and upward pressure comes and it does take out 65, I'd certainly expect to see more resistance up around 80, 82 cents. But then from that point, all I look for is any sort of pullback, make a higher low. To remain strong technically, I'd want to see it hold 65 cents as a new support level. That's just classic TA. Broken resistance needs to become support. So I'd have to start seeing some higher lows and some higher highs to help validate the idea that this is indeed a true bottom. And the chart's going to try and go on some sort of upswing. All in all, though, for me, this bottom support absolutely has to stay intact. There's no support in sight. As I mentioned, I don't know what happened to cause the collapse in the share price. But from a purely technical perspective, this is one worth keeping an eye on because of the multiple bottom pattern. Those are the type of things that I'd be looking for in the TZYM chart. But as always, it's merely my interpretation. Thank you for watching and trade smart.